Hello guys, how are you? We start our lecture today regarding economics and today is my name is Professor Aftab Khan. You already know me, and today is week number 14. And today we can say this is the last week because after this week there will be a 15th week, and in the 15th week there will be a final exam. Okay, so there will be no final exam because of the coronavirus, but yes, there will be. You can say this that there are some assignments which I already submitted to you in the previous months, and some students have already submitted me their assignment, but some students who have not submitted me their assignments, I have a request to you on my behalf that please submit it to me on time, so I will get your assignments and I will evaluate it and I will give you the grades. There will be no final exam at all and nothing. You guys have only your uh, assignments, and in the evaluation of the assignments I will give you the gradings. Today is week number 14, and as you know, according to our syllabus, according to our course plan, today is our revision week, and today you guys will do revision work regarding your economics subject, and I think you guys have learned a lot in the previous 13 weeks. So yes, we discussed 13 chapters as you know in the previous weeks. So there will be 13 chapters. So in the 13 chapters, the first chapter was the introduction chapter of economics, and in that chapter we discussed the introduction of economics. And in the introduction of economics, we can say this, that somebody asks you in your life that what is the meaning of economics. So in a very easy sense, say this, that sir, this is a study of scarce resources. Economics is a study of scarce resources. Scarce resources means limited resources. So this is the thing this is the definition of economics, and basically it is a study of social sciences that studies the production, distribution and consumption of goods and services. So economics focuses on the behavior and interactions of economic agents and how economies work. Okay, so microeconomics analyzes basic elements in the economy which we already discussed in the past, and which includes individual agents and markets, their interactions and the outcomes of interactions. So individual agents may include, for example, households, buyers, firms and sellers. Okay, household, firms, buyers and sellers. And macroeconomics. So basically there are two types of economics. The first one is the microeconomics and the second one is the macroeconomics. In the microeconomics, micro means small, which means that individual economics. Macro means we can say this, that large, and in the very good example is which is known as the country's economies as well. So this is known as the macroeconomics, which is derived on the fiscal policy, the monetary policy, the budget, and vice versa. So these are the things which we gonna discuss and in the past. And microeconomics analyzes the basic elements of economy which belongs with the individual. But macroeconomics analyzes or describes the economy as a system where production, consumption, savings and investments, interaction and factors affecting it, employment of the resources of labor, capital and land, currency inflation, economic growth and public policies that have impact on these elements. Okay, so these are the things which we gonna discuss in the past. So other broad distinctions within economics include those between positive economics, which describing what is, and normative economics, it's educating what ought to be between economic theory and applied economics, between rational and behavioral economics, and between the mainstream economies and heterodox economics. So basically economics analyzes economics analysis can be applied throughout the society in the real estate, business, finance, healthcare sector and the government. So economics analysis is sometimes also applied to such diverse subjects such as crime, for example, education, politics, religion, family, social institutions, war, science and the environment. We already discussed it in the past weeks regarding some chapters which belongs with some theories. For example, the theory of Adam Smith, which is a study of scarce resources. a theory of opportunity cost. And what is opportunity cost? Is opportunity cost means that the next best alternative forgone. Okay, for example, and I had given you a very good example of the opportunity cost, which means that, for example, if you have $90, if you want to buy chicken, okay, and you will go to the chicken meat shop, so but a chicken 1 kg chicken, and you want to buy 1 kilogram chicken, but the chicken has a cost of approximately $15, and you guys have only $10 in your pocket, so or $14 suppose in your pocket, so it's not possible for you to buy a chicken. So you will find the next best alternative forgone. What is the next best alternative to buy in the substitute of chicken? So yes, the substitute of chicken is fish meat, cow meat, buffalo meat, or lamb meat, or any other meat. Okay. So for example, if you go to the fish market, so that fish is approximately $14 1 kilogram. So definitely the fish meat is under your budget, and you can buy a fish in a very easy manner, but you cannot buy the chicken because the chicken is comprises of $15. So these are the things which we gonna discuss regarding the opportunity cost, and the classical political economics, Marxism, new classical economics, Keynesian economics, Chicago School of Economics, and many other things which we gonna discuss, which had discussed in the past. And regarding microeconomics, yes, we discussed production, which is the opportunity cost and efficiency, specialization, supply and demand, and firms, uncertainty and game theory, market failure, public sector. These were the things which we gonna discuss in the past. Okay, and the macroeconomics. In the macroeconomics, we discuss growth, business cycle, unemployment, inflation and monetary policy, fiscal policy, and etc. etc. Yes, we already discussed the international economics, development economics, labor economics, and welfare economics. We discuss agreements. We discuss criticism, journal criticism. In the criticism, there are two types of criticism in the economy. The first one is the journal criticism. The second criticism was criticism of assumptions. So these were the things which we had discussed in the past. Related subjects, practice, empirical investigations, professions, references, and many things which we had discussed in the past. We already discussed the multiple aspects of economic science, which was known as Alfred Marshall, who was a political economist, and that in the 19th century, in the 19th era, a shorter term of economic science at that time it became more open to rigorous thinking and made increased use of mathematics, which helped support efforts to have it accepted as a science and as a separate discipline outside of political science and other social sciences. So there are a variety of modern definitions of economics. Some reflect evolving views of the subject, different views among economics. So Adam Smith basically was a person in the 1776. He was the person who invented a very good philosophy, and we already discussed this, and Adam Smith was the father of economics. And somebody asked you in your life who invented economics, so Adam Smith was the person who was an economist who invented economics. And what he said, he described a division of labor. And what is division of labor? Land, labor, and capital. LLC. Three things, three words, three terms, three terminologies he described. And these terminologies, land, labor, and capital, these three terminologies basically is the philosophy of economics, which has given by the Adam Smith. And basically this is a branch of the science of the statesman or legislator with the twofold of objectives of providing a plentiful revenue or existence for the people, and to supply the state of or commonwealth with a revenue for the public services, and vice versa. So the science which traces the laws, Such of the phenomena of society are as arise from the combined operations of mankind for the production of wealth, in so far as those phenomena are not modified by the pursuit of any other subject. So Alfred Marshall, basically economics, he said that economics is the study of man in the ordinary business of life. It inquires how he gets his income and how he uses it. Thus it is on the one side the study of wealth, and on the other and more important side, a part of the study of man. We can say this, that economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. So these were the things which we had discussed in the past. We discussed regarding the history of economics, that economics writing date from the earlier Greek, Roman, Indian subcontinent, Chinese, Persian and Arab civilizations, and blah blah blah, and many things which we had discussed in the past. So definitely Adam Smith is who was the main inventor of economics. He was the person who invented economics, okay, and basically he discovered the division of labor, land, labor and capital. This is the most fundamental topic of economics. Always be remember, somebody asks you in your life that what is the most important topic of economics in your studies, which you had discussed in the past. So Adam Smith concept was based on the division of labor, and in the division of labor, land, labor and capital, these were the three things which the economists had made this theory, okay. And you know that Marxism, after Adam Smith Marxism theory, Marxist was a person who was a German economist, and basically he invented a new classical approach. And then we discussed new classical economics, okay, and we also discussed Keynesian economics, okay. Keynesian economics derives from Keynes, who was a person who was an economist from the United States, and he invented the macroeconomics, okay. He invented the monetary policy, he invented the state bank, he invented the central bank, okay. He invented the fiscal policy of a country or a nation. He invented the concept of GDP, which is known as the gross domestic product. He also invented the concept of GNP, which is known as the gross national product, okay, and vice versa. So basically Keynesian economics was the person who invented this revolution. And we discussed Chicago School of Economics, that Chicago School of Economics is the best known for its free market advocacy. We also discussed other schools and approaches, okay. Economic systems, we discussed economic system is a branch of economics that studies the methods and institutions by which societies determine the ownership, direction and allocation of economic resources. And economic system of a society is the unit of analysis, okay, and vice versa. Okay, so these were the things which we had discussed in the past. The theory of economic theory, which is the mainstream of economic theory, relies upon quantitative economic models, which employs a variety of concepts, and this thing which also relates with the supply and demand, okay. And there are many theories which relates with the microeconomics. For example, the supply and demand theory, marginalism theory, which is known as the theory of margin, okay. Rational theory, and in the margin theory we have a concept that what is equilibrium. Equilibrium basically is a stage of business in which there will be no profit and no loss, okay, and everything is on the zero position, which is known as the equilibrium state, okay. So these were the things which we had discussed in the past. Rational choice theory, opportunity cost theory, budget constraints theory, utility and the theory of the firm, okay. And early macroeconomics, which is the model which focused on modeling the relationships between aggregate variables but as the relationships appear to change over time, macroeconomists, including new Keynesian reformulated their models in the micro foundations. So the branches of economics in which the microeconomics basically is a small economic which is known as the individual economics. In the individual economic there are some concepts of which we had discussed, that free market economy, in which there is no taxation at all. You have a right, you have a freedom, you have a liberty. What I mean to say this, that what business you want to do, you have a right to do this. There will be no tax imposition on your business and vice versa. So this is the concept of the free market economy, which we have already had discussed in the past. Okay, and then production cost and efficiency. In the microeconomics, production is the conversion of inputs into outputs. It is an economic process that uses inputs to create a commodity or a service for exchange or direct use. Production is a flow and thus a rate of output per period of time. Distinction includes such production alternatives as for consumption, food, haircuts, etc. versus investment goods. Opportunity cost we already discussed in the past, and PPF, yes, production, possibility and frontier curve. This is a curve which relates with the demand and supply and scarcity and vice versa. These were the things which we already had discussed in the past. And specialization, that the division of labor, comparative advantage and the gains of trade. Okay, so specialization is considered a key to economic efficiency based on the theoretical and empirical considerations. The different individuals or nations may have different real opportunity cost of productions, say from differences in shock of human capital per worker or capital labor ratios and vice versa. So these were the things which we had discussed in the past. We discussed supply and demand curve, the prices and quantity curve. Okay, said what is the price curve and what is the quantity curve, how to relate with this. Okay, and this is the thing which we had discussed. The prices and quantities have been described as the most directly observable attributes of goods produced and exchanged in a market economy. The theory of supply and demand is an organizing principle for explaining how prices coordinate the amounts produced and consumed. In the microeconomics, it applies to prices and output determinants for a market with perfect competition, which includes the condition of no buyers or sellers large enough to have price setting power and vice versa. So these were the things which we had discussed in the past. We discussed the firm relations of marketing, that a theory of firm which based on the industrial organizations, business economics and managerial economics, which we already had discussed in the past, and which we have operation research analysis of economics and vice versa. We also discussed in the past regarding uncertainty and the game theory. Okay, uncertainty in economics is an unknown prospects of gain or loss, whether quantifiable as risk or not. Without it, household behavior, financial and capital markets would reduce to exchange of a single instruments in each market period, and there would be no communication industry. Given its different forms, there are various ways of representing uncertainty and modeling economic agents' responses to. Game theory is a branch of applied mathematics that considers strategic interactions between agents. One kind of uncertainty, it provides a mathematical foundation of industrial organizations. It discussed above to model different types of firm behaviors. For example, it has a wage negotiation, bargaining, contract design, and any other situations where individual agents are few enough to have perceptible effects on each other. In the behavioral economy, it has been used to model the strategic agents to choose when interacting with others whose interests are at least partially adverse to their own. Also, these were the things which we also discussed. Some risk aversions in the economics, future contracts, financial instruments, financial economics, or simple finance, which describes the allocation of financial resources. It also analyzes the pricing of financial instruments, the financial structure of economies, the efficiency and fragility of financial markets, financial crisis, and related government policy or regulations. Okay, so these were the things which we had discussed. We discussed some market failures. Okay, and in the market failure we discussed government failure, information economics failure, environmental economics failure, agriculture failures, and vice versa. Okay, so these were the things which we had discussed in the past. Okay, and we discussed so many things regarding the environmental economics, and in the environmental economics there are some market failures, and basically it which encompasses several problems which may undermine the standard economic assumptions. Although economists categorize market failures differently, the following categories emerge in the main text. Okay, so information asymmetries and incomplete markets may result in economic inefficiency, but also a possibility of improving efficiency through market, legal, and regulatory remedies, as discussed above. So, natural monopoly, which we already discussed in the past, which is the overlapping concept of practical and technical monopoly, which is an extreme case of failure of competition as a constraint on procedures. Extreme economies of scale are one possible cause. Public goods, we discussed that what are the goods of the public, and these are the goods that are undersupplied in a typical market. The defining features which we had discussed, that are that people can consume public goods without having to pay for them, and that more than one person can consume the good at the same time. We discussed some externalities which occurs where there are significant social cost or benefits from production or consumption that are not reflected in different processes, in different prices. For example, air pollution may generate a negative externality, and education may generate a positive externality, and vice versa. So these were the things, my dear students, which we had discussed in the past. We discussed some public sector organization in the economics, which are the economics of the public sector, public finance, okay, and welfare economics, which we already discussed in the past. We discussed macroeconomics theories. In this theory we discussed monetary policy, we discussed fiscal policy overview, okay, and we discussed economic growth. We discussed business cycle in the past with the expansion, boom, recession, and depression, and vice versa. So these were the things which we already had discussed in the past, okay, and unemployment, which we had discussed. We discussed unemployment, how unemployment causes, what are the causes of unemployment. And you know, my dear student, because of this coronavirus pandemic disease, there are a lot of unemployment in the whole world. The whole world is in deep crisis. We can say this: the whole world is in deep recession. For example, United States is one of the world's best country of the world, in which, according to their employment rate, employment ratio. But you know, in today's era, because of the coronavirus, because of this pandemic disease, you know, that the economy of United States collapsed. It's not about only United States. It's in Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Russia, Japan, South Korea also is also affected. So the whole world is in a very bad situation, according to this unemployment because of this pandemic disease. Okay, so my dear student, again I have a pray for everyone that because of this online semester and because of this coronavirus disease, the whole semester will be online. I hope you will learn this. I hope you enjoy this learning. This is also a very effective learning in my point of view. But we pray to God that God will help us to save not only us, the whole world, and this pandemic disease will finish as soon as possible, so everybody will stay healthy and stay safe. And we pray to God that we all be safe, and this pandemic disease, this coronavirus disease, will finish as soon as possible from the whole world. Okay, and So these are the things which we had discussed in your economics course. I hope, my dear students, you learn this subject, you enjoy this subject, and this subject gives us a professional learning which helps us to be professional, and which gives us a knowledge to strengthen ourselves, to strengthen or to flourish or to furnish our concepts, and vice versa. So again I am repeating, my dear student, there will be no extra assignment. I am not giving you any extra load. The same assignment which I already given it to you, please submit it to me on time. I am not giving you any other assignment. I will not take any midterm exam. Those students who already given me assignment number 1, I already given you the good gradings regarding your midterm exam. But those students who had not submitted me their assignment, please, I am requesting you that please submit it to me on time. As soon as you will submit it, as soon I will evaluate it, and I will give you the gradings, and vice versa. So today is the last session, which is the week number 14, and today is a revision week. We have not studied any other thing, and we had only studied regarding your revision. But in the next week also, I will also make a small video of 3 to 5 minutes which describes regarding your final exam. And your final exam there will be no final exam at all. Because of this online semester. There will be no face-to-face or physical learning. Our full semester is online, and I will take your final exam replaces on your assignments which are already submitted to you. So your assignments are your final exam. As soon as you will give me your assignments, I will check it, I will evaluate your assignments, and I will give you the gradings, and vice versa. Okay, so thank you very much. If you have any question, you can ask me in the YSU Cyber website. You can make me a comment or any question if you want to ask me. I will respond you, I will answer you, and I will reply you, and I will help you as a professor. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope you learn this and enjoy this. In the meanwhile, to be continued towards the next week, which is the week number 15, and in the week number 15 I only make you a small 3 to 5 minutes video. So thank you very much, and goodbye.